Let's dive into what's at the core of AI assistants, copilots, genies, Clippy 2.0, I've even heard used, Q if you're on the AWS camp, whatever you want to brand them, right? Um, what key features do you think a software system such as yours has to offer to be considered an effective AI? Choose your branded name for it, right?
Yeah. That's a great question. I mean, Clippy was, a thing that, when I, maybe I'm dating myself a little bit here, but when I was in school, Clippy, I think it was high school, Clippy debuted. And even to us in school, that it was probably most useful for, it was, the, the butt end of a lot of jokes. And, some of that was the kind of corny graphics and presentation on it. But a lot of assistants these days do feel a lot like Clippy. Let's be honest. I mean, they do to me, and I think that's something that we in the software industry need to overcome. Right? We need to push through because today's Clippy 2.0 is very different than the Clippy 1.0 in terms of its raw capabilities. Right? I think people are generally floored the first time they try some of these the real powerful large language models, not the ones that necessarily can run on your laptop. I think those tend to be pretty Clippy-esque, but the ones that are really at scale are just almost magical. Now they have clear downsides to them and clear limitations, and we as humanity, as a species, are definitely working through a lot of those questions right now. But the natural interface capabilities of these tools is just unparalleled. All right, and so how do we leverage that? I think once we push through, once we convince our users to give Clippy 2.0 a second try, some of that is dropping the name Clippy. We really can, have them leverage their curiosity. So now, like for onboarding, right? I mean, you can really use it as a means of getting users into the product quickly. Everybody skips the tutorial. Who reads the manuals to install IKEA furniture, right? You kind of give it a go, at least for the first few steps. If you're anything like me, you get confused and you have to back up and listen to the blob on a page tell you how to do it. But you try and give it a go without reading the full and complete manual, or you try and give it a go after reading the first few chapters. And now people are going to be a lot more successful with that approach, right? Because now you've got a custom tailored mechanism for helping you onboard into that tool. And bonus points if the assistant or whatever it is branded in that tool produces work products for you, helps you, doesn't just tell you how to do things, but helps you. And extra bonus points if how it does those things is able to be inspected and deconstructed by the end user, right? We wind up building some pretty complicated and powerful analytics products, in Seeq, and it would be almost a disservice to users if the AI assistant created those analytics products in a way that you couldn't inspect and learn from, right? If you weren't able to also tweak it, right? A lot of times, one of the maybe downsides or current limitations of AI right now is a lot of times it'll get you very close to what you want, but just a little bit off, maybe sometimes frustratingly off. And if you can't manipulate that, then that's just like the most frustrating user experience, right? You get like exactly what you want, except for you want the line to be blue instead of green. If you can't make it blue instead of green, then it's even worse than not being able to do it, I think. So I think that's a key point, right? So you've got like onboarding and training, and then actually being a user inspectable hand, a tutor, if you will, and then it really does. At the end of the day, all those things come together to bridge the gap between the technical powerhouses and the non-technical people, right? It brings more people to the table. Right? Now more people are enabled on technologies that formerly required too much training, too much investment, too much brain power or time, right? Now more people can interact in a deeper way with these tools and techniques, and that's super powerful.
Well, can you talk a little bit about Seek's assistant specifically, and maybe just how are customers leveraging it already, right? Because I know you have customers running with the
Hmm.
Seek Assistant. So maybe just bring it to life a little bit with how your AI assistant is delivering value.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. As you can imagine, we, like a lot of folks in pretty much all software industries, are rapidly adopting AI into our product because there's just so much process or promise here, and the user need is so clear for all the reasons we talked about. So we have been building that into Seek, and because we have a SaaS rapid deployment model, the vast majority of our customer base has it available to them right now, and have been leveraging it at surprisingly high adoption rates. And as far as we can tell, it's been really good for people being able to get farther into the nooks and crannies of our product, and that's amazing because it means that they are now more enabled, right? They're more powerful. They're more able to answer the kind of questions that they have. And we've had it reported to us too. So that's kind of the analytics data that we see coming off of some of our instrumentation. But we've had customers report to us that they're able to achieve their sustainability times 2 to 8x faster, just because we're eliminating stumbling blocks in the beginning, to making confident and immediate $1 million operational improvements is a quote that I'm looking at here. British Sugar actually is a name that I can drop. They reported using the AI assistant to help manage challenges with workforce skill gaps and loss of corporate knowledge, right? As brain drain happens, as senior subject matter experts retire. And they reported that it currently requires 10 years to fully skill some of their technical experts. And with the AI assistant, they're forecasting to dramatically increase the efficiency of their technical teams and cut that time to skill an expert in half. And we're looking to do even better than that. And we have seen a pretty broad impact. But those are some specifics.
Thanks, Dustin. I think that really highlights why assistants, or whatever we want to call them, are really hugely impactful, even if they're not solving the core AI problem, the math problem side of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Just the ability to get into the nooks and crannies, deploy software, leverage software that we already have
Mm-hmm.
is an amazing set of capabilities that we shouldn't underestimate.